Hello. So good to meet you at our global motivational meeting. We are reading World Scriptures book, this God words that inspire me, my family, community, country, and the whole world. Billions of people are receiving tips from God just reading these quotes and think about them. So practice in your daily life to think about them, and it will help you to prosper and live a happy life. And let's read further what God prepared for us today. The love of grandparents. Grandparents grace a family with wisdom, experience, and delightful love for their grandchildren. In traditional culture, where three generations live under one roof, children honor their grandparents and care for them in their infirmity as a part of daily life, learning lessons of love and respect in the process. Grandparents are moral anchors. There are too many cases where parents are corrupted by drugs or crime and rendered unfit to care for their children. Then the grandparents step into the breach to take over the parenting role. Father Moon described the loss of the three-generation family in urbanized industrialized society as contributing to selfishness and questioning of morality. In many traditions, the honor given parent and grandparent is linked to the honor given the ancestors and the gods in the vertical chain of devotions. In this light, Father Moon speaks of grandparents as representatives of God in the home. Honoring them is a way of honoring God, the greatest grandparent of all. Okay, first quote: you shall rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of an old man, and you shall fear you God, I am the Lord. Another quote: the feeling of grandparents for their grandchildren can be expressed this way: our children are dear to us, but when we have grandchildren, they seem to be dearer than our children were. You might say that the grandmother falls all over herself to try to show her appreciation for her grandchild. It goes right back to those wishes that were made for them when they were little girls. The wish that they would live to become grandmothers someday. So when the time comes and they reach grandmotherhood, they do extra little duties to show their appreciation. And another quote: do not neglect the sacrificial work due to the gods and the Father. Let your mother be to you like unto a god. Let your father be to you like unto a god. Let your teacher be to you like unto a god. Let your guest to be to you like unto a god. Further, let's read quotes from the second coming Messiah, Father Son Moon. As children, you are destined to inherit the fortune of your grandparents and parents. Why do you need grandparents? They represent the past. They embody the living history of the past. Their parents representing the present age and the children representing the future. Does the family connect the past, the present, and future, as well as east, west, and north and south? Grandparents, parents, children, and God, the center of them all is true love. Think about whether it is this way in your family. By loving and respecting your grandfather and grandmother, you inherit everything from the past and learn from the past. From your father and mother, you learn about the present. By loving and cherishing your children, you learn about the future. The three-generation family is like the entire universe. It is like a textbook to learn how to love the universe. Hence, if there isn't a grandmother or grandfather in your family, you may feel insecure. In a traditional family, the grandfather and grandmother, the bride, mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law, and the grandchildren should all live together. What is the center? God. Centering on God, 3 generations are settled formation, growth, and completion. Hence, children need to know how to love not just their father and mother, but also their grandfather and grandmother. They should honor their grandfather and grandmother with the highest status that their father and mother. Loving them is the way for the children to love God. Grandparents represent God in heaven. Their position is like heaven. All the elders in the family, our grandparents, bring heaven to us. That is why you need to attend them as the representatives of God. Think of them as representative of the King of heaven and serve them as you would serve God. This teaching is one of the traditions of the ideal family. If the husband and wife fight, the grandfather and grandmother will say, no, no, don't do that. When the children fight or the grandchildren fight, they say, no, no, don't do that. In this way, with love, they play the role of a servant. They live for the sake of the other member of the family, telling each of them, you are in a high position, you are wonderful. Grandparents play the role of the servant of love to the greatest extent. The greatest, most amazing, and most powerful person in the universe is the person who walks the way of the servant of love. It is wonderful when a daughter-in-law loves her grandmother and grandfather so much that she always buys better things for them than for her husband. She may be good looking and old grandfather and grandmother may be all wrinkled, yet whenever she goes shopping, she looks to buy something for them, something finer than what she buys for her husband, and she does it with a more joyful heart. What a wonderful sin. If she does that, then the grandfather and grandmother will give her everything they had hidden away, everything having to do with love. Who is the older being in the world? It is God. Therefore, you learn from loving your grandfather how to love God and live for his sake. When you learn this tradition, you can receive all the treasures of love stored in grandfather God's secret warehouse. It is wonderful. It is true that many grandchildren and daughters-in-law hate to see the cane their grandfather cares about. Perhaps they wish the grandfather an early death, rather good than grandchildren and daughter-in-law who have loving hearts would think, oh God, when the cane disappears someday, I will be drenched in tears. If the people of a nation hold the elderly in contempt, eventually that nation will lose its national character. A person who doesn't like old people is selling out the character and tradition of his nation. So powerful quotes for today. If you have difficulties, please watch one more time this video. Share this video as we end this Billion Happy Life Subscribers Marathon. Share it to your friends and all your contacts that they also could receive this salvation for God's world and healing. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, and become a member of this Heavenly Parents Holy Community globally. Receive Heavenly Kingdom citizenship right now. The contacts are below. And see you tomorrow with more powerful quotes. turn on suggestion playlists, will prepare for you, and choose the best one and listen God's word all the day. Stay blessed. Bye bye, yours, Nicolae Cirpala.